Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last day of the quarterfinals. XKCD, how goes it this morning?
It's going to be a busy morning, but I'm doing pretty good so far today. So far,
Yeah.
so good. Woke up a little bit later than normal, but it's still manageable.
Oh man, that is a great face to start this cast.
That is.
Oh man, alright, so I know that after this cast, guys, XKCD has to pack everything up in a vehicle and get on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to be very busy today.
Yeah, so we will just be powering right on through this. Hopefully the commercials aren't too long, and, you know, one of these players will just dominate over the other for your sake.
But at the same time, I kind of am hoping that we get like a really super long like game that goes all 5 games.
Yeah, I didn't want to disappoint you, but like if any of these series could go to 5 games, I was hoping this one would, because Gimchi versus Effort just gets me super stoked.
It does. And, you know, I'm okay with missing some things today, but as long as we get to see some epic Brood War, that's what we all here are.
Yeah, there's only a few moments in your life that you don't miss, like your wedding or your children being born. You know, you try and be around for those. But simple things like first day of class,
it's syllabus week.
Yeah, no one even looks at the syllabus anyway. If you go to class every day, you're in top shape anyway.
Yep. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. So, guys, this is going to be the final day of this quarterfinals, and we've already gone through 3 previous days, and in those previous results, it was Bisu over last, Sharp over Mind, and 0 over Free. So this is the opportunity here where a second Protoss player can advance or a second Zerg.
This is a question I want to ask you.
Yes.
What would make the bracket more fun if either race advanced? Like, which race would you want to advance?
Okay, I feel like for the semifinals, if Guimchi advanced, that would be more fun. Because, oh my god, he toppled Effort. What can he really bring? But I think 0 versus Effort will create the best finals possible. Because a ZVT or a ZVP in the finals would just be awesome.
We already are, well, almost guaranteed a Zerg. But if Effort does advance, that means the Zerg would be playing Effort in the semifinals.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and while it's a ZVZ, I think it'll create an awesome finals. And I mean, let's say that Sharp does manage to beat Bisu. Where does his TVZ sit?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those relatively unknown things. And it may be kind of a bad situation for him if he does have to face Zerg, and that's not his strongest matchup. So, really, you know, if it ends up being like Bisu versus Effort in the finals, I think that'd get everybody really pumped up.
That would be.
It'd be an OSL versus MSL style combat.
So it looks like we're going to play the games tomorrow. This Thursday is going to be the next round of 4, and then the other round of 4 match will be next week.
Yeah. Oh, and that's hilarious. I don't know if anybody else has been paying attention to the chat, but apparently Officer T keeps like rejoining the channel, and Blindroar seems to think that maybe it's because someone's just spamming F5 in the LR thread.
I wonder if that actually might be the case, though. That'd be kind of weird, but that could be the case.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, if you have any questions, just post in this thread. We will talk back and forth with you. Funky Bomber, welcome to the cast.
Welcome, welcome.
Yep. And just know, if you want to have a different color or become a super fan, just go ahead and donate stars to our stream. We haven't really promoted you guys donating stars to our stream because we're really, you know, we're not after your pocketbooks, we're after your viewer count.
Which then includes your pocketbooks.
Yes,
One step at a time. One step at a time.
We'll wait until you're addicted to our voices, and then we'll just kind of be like, well, we might not show up today.
Oh, no, let's not think like that.
No, that is terrible. Yeah, we always show up. That's the bottom line.
Because we love Brood War.
And God, it's got to be cold there. You know, Korea is a much more northern territory than Florida, and it's pretty cold here in Florida today, down in the 30s and 40s all day today.
I'm sitting here with the 16s and 20s, so
Yeah,
I'm used
the
to it.
equivalent of the Ice Bowl ran yesterday for football, with the Vikings versus Seattle getting down to under the 10s.
That was great.
Yeah, that is nuts. Like, it's so deceiving when you look outside during that game, and you're like, oh, it's kind of sunny out. Like, it looks like the weather is pretty nice, but no, it's a chill factor of -0, you know, under 0. So,
Right. You know, the best football games I like to watch when it's actually snowing, so then you can actually see that it's actually prevalent. But more importantly, it's still wet on the ground, so you see a lot of player slippage.
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
those snow games are hilarious. And I was, like, hoping for an epic snow game, kind of like the Ice Bowl really looked, where everybody's just kind of just trudging through 2 feet of snow. And I like that, like, football games will stop because of a lightning really, really far away, or, like, thunder and not even the sight of lightning. But then, like, 5 feet of snow doesn't stop a football game.
Right, because you can still play through snow. You can't really play through lightning when someone strikes you in the head.
You could. I mean, if you put, like, a power conductor in your helmet and allowed that to go into your body armor so it could power you up for the next play, there's some potential here for lightning to play a factor. But speaking of power factors, we do have a historic game with Jaedong versus Flash where there was a huge power outage.
That will forever be one of the most hotly debated games ever.
Yeah, and it was game 1 in the series too, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? I kind of want to go back and watch that, and maybe we all just take a second look and go, well, how far behind or ahead was Jaedong? I wish we had the actual rep too, so we could get like the in-game stats. You know, launch it with the MCA viewer and see where everything was in the game.
Right.
But we're just kind of fluffing through this interview, guys. We don't really have a good translation for them. Of course, we do every once in a while try and pretend to know what they say.
It's kind of fun, though, like when you pretend you think you know what they're saying, and then sometimes you might be right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that a lot when, like, I have a manager that I don't like, and I can see them talking in the distance, and I put really horrible things out of their mouth. Like, I'm a D-bag, and I'm telling Patrick to work harder today. And then I think, no! What a horrible person.
How do you, as a developer, work harder, though?
You really can't make a developer work harder than they want to work. Like, code faster. We demand more text characters.
It's like, you can't measure that.
Absolutely not. You can say this task should be done, but, you know, and no manager knows the scope of how long a task should actually take to get done.
Right.
Which is why your manager actually needs to be a coder.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wait, your manager's not a developer?
My manager above me is an artist, because we have the most artists out of any section of the Boeing company. So we have like 50 artists now. But because my programming team is small and I was the first programmer on board, I just manage all the programmer tasks. So he doesn't even ever check in. He's like, is the project still going well? And I'll go, yeah, it's doing fine. And he leaves.
Fair enough. That works.
Yeah, he stays out of our hair, and I keep our project ahead of time. Which is something that doesn't happen for most major companies.
Right. I mean, in my place, it's very flat, so whoever's above you has more technical skill than you, so to speak, until you get to like the VP position and, you know, head of the departments.
Oh, here we do have the bowing going on. It looks like we're going to have the players load themselves up inside of the booths now so we can get ready to go. Caster's looking sharp today. Are you wearing your tie, XKCD?
No, I'm wearing an orange t-shirt.
That's what I am wearing a Yoda shirt, but there's a possibility of pad tie on my shirt.
Yeah, Do you have to dress up for work?
I will have to dress up for work, but I dress up after. So I've got Ninja Turtle bottoms. I have a Disney jacket on with Mickey, and then I have a Yoda t-shirt. The hell is wrong with me? Am I a nerd?
It sounds like you got lost in the 90s. Which I'm okay with. You know, the 90s were a great time. They really were.
They were. But, I mean, I picked this outfit out in the dark.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. My selection's got to get better. Okay, so we're returning to the normal map pool. 0 versus free was the only odd one here. And we're going to be starting off with Circuit Breaker to run twice. And look at the stats here. It's almost as even as you can get between these two players.
Yeah, I was going to say they did a carbon copy it, but you can see that Effort has a little bit better stats than Guemchi on the stats cycle. But in terms of player confidence, both are pretty confident.
Or you could look at this and say that Effort's skill floor is a little bit lower than Guemchi's.
No, because Effort has... Wait. Effort's all maxed out points except for like the one on the right, which is a 9 for him.
Yeah, but look, his bottom on the right is lower than Guemchi's on the left. Clearly, his skill floor is lower, so he has the potential to be worse.
No, I think you're misreading this BC Dagger.
There's no right way to read this XKCD.
There is. It requires us to know the translation.
Fine. I'm practicing management where I just call things as I see it.
Straight shooter.
Yeah, exactly. So I have no idea what's going on. I can't read anything, but I do like the picture, so that's how it's gonna work.
Yep, look here in the booth. It's going to be Guemchi.
He's looking smiley. I feel like Guemchi is second to Sharp in like excitement level and happiness after he wins a game. I mean, this dude is really feeling it in this tournament.
That's the thing, though. You got to have positive energy if you want to win.
Yeah, you got to be working on that chi like nonstop. You know, something that I don't see from these pro gamers that I see in a lot of booths of StarCraft 2 players are like the hand warmers and the bean bags that they put in their hands to ready them before the games do start.
I wonder if it's something that the player can't really get.
I mean, what I'm really thinking is that like Brood War is so micro intensive that your hands just can't get cold because they're constantly microwave.
Yeah, but even then, I think you still would want to have them.
Yeah. I had to get myself a package of hand warmers for when I end up in Seattle. Haven't used them before, though.
Just shake them up and you're good to go.
That's right. So we have these two players. They are lining themselves up. Guemchi versus Effort, guys. And we're going to start off with Circuit Breaker. Go into match point, Gladiator, Fighting Spirit, and then repeat Circuit Breaker again if it does go into the final game.
It can be a very difficult map pool for Guemchi, though. Having to play Circuit Breaker twice, potentially. You know, we already seen throughout the entire tournament that Circuit Breaker is a pretty bad map for Protoss. Very difficult to win against guys here. But we're actually now going to be live on the game number 1. Spawning in the bottom left as the blue Zerg, it's going to be Effort. And in the top right as the teal Protoss, it will be Guemchi.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to say this is great for Guemchi. You want the furthest distance possible against this Zerg Effort. An aggressive Zerg player who has real good lane control. We've seen him really, show how aggressive he could be against his ZVZ when he played July in the group stages. And he was just like gone bat crazy. So I feel like the further Guemchi could be away while he establishes his natural, getting his forge up, maybe a gateway actually, we'll see right here. This is going to be good for him.
But at the same token, I think Effort actually would also want to be far away from Guemchi as well. That's just the nature of
course.
Zerg.
As a Zerg player, you have the opportunity to macro up pretty nicely. The scouting being a little bit later, maybe a later probe to try and block the hatchery so you can get your natural up without any stops in your way. So I feel like it's good for both players, but definitely I'm going to favor Guemchi best as possible because he needs that extra time to macro.
Alright, fair enough. So we're going to have the overpull coming down from effort. And it's SeaGuemchi going for the 12 Nexus?
Yeah, we don't see any buildings built there, and I'm this is definitely a really late timing if there was going to be a forge or a gateway, so
Looks like it's just going to be a forge.
okay. Well, I guess he'll probably go forge, and what do you think? Nexus after? It'd be really it's just really suspicious here that he hasn't set out a probe to scout.
I don't think you really need to send out a probe that early on. Like, if your intention is, like, going to go straight into the mid game, not really trying to do early game pressure, it's not that of imperative. Because it's not like you're a Protoss player, you're going to expect a Zerg to, like, 4-pull you.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance, though. Effort is a guy who's just pulled crazy builds out of the bag. That's the one reason he won his OSL, is because after he was down 2 games in a best of 5 against Flash, he like just suddenly realized if he goes in with these early game timings and gets super aggressive, he could just totally turn the game around. And that's what he did against Flash. He's a player who can do that at any time.
Right, so it looks like SeaGuemchi kind of figured out where effort is now. Pro going in the right direction now. Going to get scouted by a Zergling. They'll be chasing it around.
Yeah, you know what? The one cannon is going to be safe. The problem that I still have with the fact that he hasn't been able to really scout out this build is he doesn't know, how aggressive Effort's timing is, when did the spawning pool come down, and how many lings does he have to deal with. But he's gambling that he just needs one cannon to defend right now.
It could be gambling. It could be the fact that you just study Effort's free plays for the last year or so. A lot of this matchup, since we already are in the round of 8, does come down to player preparation.
Yeah, and you know what? I was like, oh man, I hope there's a Zerg online that I could watch before the game here. So I was looking for some Zerg streams on Team Liquid, and the one Zerg stream that I found was Quanro, and I was like, okay, this could be good. He was playing League of Legends, man. No wonder he's not in this tournament. Goofing off, playing the wrong game. Alright, but we do have the Zerglings here chasing down the scouting probe that's finally going to be coming into this base. Without speed, the probe should have a chance to get inside the main base if it wanted to.
Alright. I think since Effort does know that SeaGuemchi didn't really scout him off 100%, he should go for something sneaky here.
Yeah, and you know what? He does have the links blocking the ramp now, so at least he's going to be blocking that information. It doesn't seem like Everett does have anything that he's really hiding inside of his base, but still. He does have that third hatchery up now, sitting at the natural base. Everything's kind of looking pretty standard so far in this game.
Alright, first group of Zerglings coming out of the map now. To find their first major group. Meanwhile, SeaGuemchi does have 2 Zealots as well. I think he just had the Zealot pushed out just to force the Zerglings to be made.
Alright, so we're just seeing everything under control. I like that the Zealots are out on the map, though, but, SeaGuemchi just a little scared. He's going to keep them at home, make sure that he has the proper defenses, that Zerglings won't slip in. Oh, it looks like a few extra Zerglings being added in here, though.
Right, but more importantly, though, the probe actually scouted this all off and got inside the main base. A little bit of a slip up there by Effort, letting SeaGuemchi be able to scout off completely what he attempted to do here.
Yeah, so I'm feeling like this is probably going to end up turning into just like a 6-hatch macro game here. The standard Spire coming up to deal with any Corsair threat that is going to come out of SeaGuemchi. And we really haven't seen a lot of the Corsair micro from him. So, really, is he going to be able to control the airways? Or is Effort going to have the better Scorch placement to deal with the air?
We'll have to find out, though. A lot of Zerglings are being rallied into that natural.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like a huge production of Zerglings. And, the production is really up to just one gateway right now. And there's nothing else to help deal with this. So, Effort, is he trying to look for a timing with just lings?
That is a good question. Here's the thing, though. If Effort wants to, go for the break right now with lings and it fails, he has nothing back or home to defend. Because the major issue is that he has no SimCity yet. So he has, no sunken colonies, no Hydroden, no evil evolution chamber. And it actually be pretty the Dastards, though, because Grunty already has the +1 weapon spending both on his Corsairs and his Zealots, and he's also getting the like speed as well.
So yeah, so Guinci's going to be waiting for that leg speed for the Zealots before he's going to push out. But I mean, if there's enough Zerglings there to contain just the initial group of Zealots that would want to push out with their speed, you know, good micro might allow him to have a good trade with his Lings and Zealots and just prevent any possible harassment at his third base.
Right, you know, that might be the case that Effort's trying to go for here.
Yeah, usually you don't see like a soft contain in that sense, where you're just like, let's just block off that initial group instead of trying to predict and getting my units into the right base to defend against the Zealots. Effort's just going ahead and saying, I'm just going to sit here at the front and watch when you leave. Okay, but here the initial Zealots are going to be moving out, and the Lings just go ahead and do retreat. And the necessary sunken colonies are coming down. I'm not sure I necessarily like the SimCity that's set up at the natural, but the third is looking pretty solid.
The natural is actually pretty good. That's the same one that Larva used in his CVP. Actually, no, 0, my bad, in the last game.
It looked like his sunken colony was a little bit exposed in the natural base, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. There is a group of Zealots here at the third base, though. The initial pressure that's going to happen here, the Lings are in a really good position here to just kind of push back these Zealots. But, oh my god, the drones are going to go ahead and buffer this damage here while the Sunkens go crazy.
Yeah, nice hold by Effort, losing a couple Zerg and maybe like 1 or 2 drones at most, which is actually a perfectly acceptable trade here.
Yeah, generally you don't see a drone drill like that to block the Zealots off. You see a lot of Zerg players that just try and hold their drones on the mineral line as long as possible. And Effort's just like, you know, F this noise, I'm going to go ahead and full out defend this so I can get back to my mining.
Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely. You know, Idra was a huge component of that theory. He was just like, I lost so many games when I would just kind of half defend with what I thought I had available to me. Instead, I go, okay, now I need to defend everything as quickly as possible so I can resume to my game plan.
Here's the problem, though. The Corsair call is getting a little bit big here. You know, one Corsair did go down. Actually, can another one go down, though? Ooh. Circuits are chasing down those Corsairs.
Yeah, that Spore Colony getting in a few nice hits, but really those Scourge are the ones that need to connect with the Corsairs to try and get that countdown.
And I do like this very early third coming out here from Guinci's. He knows for a fact that Effort is going for the 4-base macro. So Effort can't really pressure him for a very long time. Guinci's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, only a cancel on a cannon there, but the Nexus looks like it's still going to be in pretty good shape.
Here's the question, though. What does Effort want to do? So, you know, does he want to, like, tech up the hide off of 4 bases? Does he want to turtle as long as he can before really moving out?
Yeah, he really hasn't shown his hand yet. I mean, think about all the gas that he's been gathering at this point in the game. He hasn't spent it on anything other than Scourge. So he's got a huge gas bank at this point. We are seeing finally the first round of Hydra start to pop out here. But is that going to be the primary unit that he's going to focus on? Or like you said, is he going to tech up into going hive heavy?
We'll have to find out in a couple minutes.
Yeah, either way, you know, if Defiler Tech is going to come out, he's just going to have to camp on that for a while. Defiler Tech is so good. If you can just use Hydra Lurker and you can start to control the map, and just mixing that in with the Dark Swarm is going to be great at combating that mid-game Dragoon queue up that Guinchi will come out with.
Bro, it looks like, look at this though. Zerg is trying to get this up inside of main base here. Going to get 3 Zergs inside. It's great for Effort.
Yeah, fortunately the High Templar was in range of that cannon, so it wasn't going to get picked off at the cost of the Zerglings. And Effort really would rather have those Zerglings inside the main base, so that way they can get that extra scouting.
Right, meanwhile, of course, there's being a bit of a nuance.
Yeah, scouting is so important. And what I learned, guys, I was watching some StarCraft 2 games, and the Taiwanese players were not scouting at all. They didn't have overlords around the map. They weren't using their Zerglings to pace back and forth and patrol the map. You know, Zealots weren't out to just explore unexplored areas. And that was a huge issue that I saw with those players. And I'm like, in Brood War, no pro player would allow this to happen. I
mean, Effort being a little bit way too aggressive with the small group of Hydra, he should know that Guemchi's their zealot size is very sizable. I'm not sure why Effort's going to go for a push like this.
Yeah, he's going to have to be very careful if he wants to keep these Hydralisks alive. And oh my god, that's a lot of shots that are getting off on top of these Corsairs. Good damage getting done there. That was just a huge clump of Hydralisk, and I think Guemchi's going to be regretting running into there.
Right, that's a little bit of a overextension by Guemchi. Losing a couple Corsair, but more importantly though, getting this Corsair is pretty soft. However, he's taking the 4th base already at the 12 o'clock. And
honestly, I think that's great because he does need that 3rd base with the gas. And so, you know, being able to attain that earlier than later is going to be really good for him. But look at this Overlord speed. I wonder if we're going to start seeing that lurker drop style where you start seeing lurkers at multiple bases just getting dropped in there and killing off mineral lines.
Right, but looks like Effort already moved out of the map here. I think what Effort really wants to do is pressure that 4th base. That's one of the problems, though. When you go for the 4-base turtles, your opponent can easily expand.
Yeah, and here we go. The Lurker already at the front, getting a few shots off on the Dragoons. Oh, that one High Templar, though, with its Storm, doing a nice job. And, you know, with the Observers out, with this core army, Guemchi's looking like he's in a pretty decent position right now.
You know, he's doing pretty decent. He has the map control. You know, his Zealots are still pretty good against the Hydras for now.
I am concerned, though, that a lot of his Zealots just chased Hydralisks down to the bottom right of the map. And the issue is, if a bunch of links are getting produced by Effort right now, that they may be able to engage and take out a ton of these Dragoons because the Zealots aren't there to take out to buffer that damage.
Oh, look at this. Going for the first
Oh,
major
that
attack.
was a great storm. 2 great storms now going down for Guemchi.
Oh, man, that's a pretty great storm, though. Where's Effort's reinforcements? He already has a group of Hydras stuck in the bottom right.
But if links pop out right now, Guemchi will be in trouble. Look at it. It's all Dragoons and High Templar that have already burned off their storms. The Zealots need to run over to just aid this core army of the Protoss player.
But look at this. Effort already has Hive. He's already getting the Nidus Canal, so his base defense will be quite easier.
And this by Guemchi is what it makes him much more brilliant than all the other Protoss players in PvZ we've seen lately. Is he did the push in, he did light pressure on the 3rd base, and then he backed off. And now he's bouncing over to this natural base to see what can I pound on at the front door of the natural. And then he's going to back off again. He can't just win straight up, but he can continue to whittle down this army.
Right, that's the more key thing, though. He might have to pull back a little bit, though. Those Hydras doing a lot of damage to that 4th base. Getting 2 cannons down.
Yeah, that DT defense there was really good. Unfortunately, no Overlord there for Effort. And Effort's going to have to commit a little bit more if he does want to take out this base. But he is doing that right now. You can see so many Hydralisks. And High Templar is going to have to burn its storms.
That DT, I'm not sure how many kills he got ready, but he's doing a fantastic defense so far. But look at this. Effort's still pressuring in.
Yeah, still with no Overlord, that DT is doing a great job, and coming in here with an Archon will pretty much clean up half this army here, giving Guemchi enough time to respond and defend. And I love that behind this, he's already going to be taking a 5th base. My god, Protoss is going to get out of control if they can get the 5th base here.
You know, Guemchi's doing a great job of keeping the map control, but more importantly, though, going for that 5th base, a little bit risky, but I think Guemchi can pull it off.
Yeah. So Effort playing really well here too, though. He still has 4 strong bases. His army's macroed out here, and he's starting to pressure towards the side of the 3 o'clock base.
Right, but I think Effort's still wanting to wait for the Hive Tech. But I'm still curious, what is this unit doing at the bottom right? Oh, looks like they finally got pulled out of that bottom right location.
Yeah, and Hive Tech is still coming oddly late, considering he got his 4 bases relatively fast, and he was focusing on a gas-heavy economy. I guess he really burned a lot of that gas bank into Hydra Lurker instead of getting that quick Defiler tech.
Right. But I still think, though, that the tech is relatively on time, though, but just the fact that because you're going for the turtle tech, you're going to be playing a little bit behind in the late game, but you do have the tech advantage, so to speak.
Yeah, and so constant battles here in the middle of the map here. Zerglings try to gauge on these Zealots initially here. And the Dragoons, are left out in the open. So this is another scary moment for Guemchi where he has to make sure that he doesn't get flanked by Effort's army.
Right, meanwhile, we're seeing Guemchi trying to saturate that 5th base here. And to some extent that 4th base as well.
Oh, and this
Effort
is just sick. With Protoss sitting on 4 gases XKCD, it's going to be really hard for Effort to take engagements here.
I know, even make matters even worse for Effort, though. What if you could actually start to add Reavers for base defense?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Reavers for defense would be really nice right now. When you get this spread out, you've got to find really efficient base defending units. That way you can just keep them alive while you keep your core army out on the map.
And you can already see, what if you're going to want to clear out the bottom right of the map, and we already have the robotic support.
Yeah, and you know what I'd like to see him do is get shuttle speed and start trying to poke around the map with High Templars and see where he can just get a few storms off.
Right, but his Corsair count is actually pretty low for this point of the game, so I'm not sure if that can be that quite effective. We already did see early on in the game here that Effort already has a lot of Hydras spread around his main bases. You know,
yeah, Effort's army is slowly accumulating too. While Guimchi clearly has the map control, Effort is building himself up too. He's taken that 5th base, has the mineral only now, and you know at any point he could end up taking that 9 o'clock base too. So this map split is looking really good for Effort still, and I think he's just trying to figure out the best place for him to engage this Protoss army.
Right, but more importantly, I think what he's trying to figure out is when will Guimchi overextend? Because that will be my time to strike.
Yeah, you know, as Zerg, you can play passive like this because the closer they are to your base, the better your odds are of defending and taking the better engagement.
Oh, look at this, though. Effort going to go for a run-by into that mineral-only 3rd here. Meanwhile, Guimchi already pushing into Effort newly 5th base here.
Yeah, nice it's only a small group of Zerglings that are engaging there, but they have crackling speed, which means that they're just going to start decimating everything.
Oh, man, that was a huge run-by. Going to get the Nexus down.
Yeah, this Nexus is going to fall down so fast.
Here's the thing, though. Like, this is what Effort is well known for. Going for the counterattacks as, you know, Protoss' main army is out of position. We did see other Protoss players fall very easily to this tactic. Let's see how Guimchi can handle it.
Yeah, he's going to drop the Nexus down right away again. But this 3rd is going to be just a constant hassle because it's so exposed at that mineral line. There's not like any ramps that he can easily defend. So it's going to be tough. Effort can just take 12 Zerglings and pretty much decimate that 3rd every time he wants to, as soon as Guimchi moves out with his army.
Right, that is true, but
that's exactly where you brought up Reavers. Would have been really nice to be sitting at that base.
Yeah, we did see it at the 3 o'clock base, though, the robotic facility being built, so we will possibly see Reavers out of that base. Meanwhile, Guimchi's main army once again working its way down into the left side of the map.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a huge army here. He's got a lot of High Templar mixed in, and storms are ready and queued up. But oh my god, he's going to be storming this 3rd base. Effort trying to get in here using the Dark Swarm. But these lurkers, he's not really committing to bringing the lurkers down that ramp. I guess maybe because he saw a few zealots and didn't want them to be able to get hit by him.
No, I think he's trying to bait out the High Templar storms.
Yeah, that's a good point. The High Templar storms are being used on those initial lurkers here. And you can see that there's still lurkers under the Dark Swarm because the cannons are definitely getting that attention there.
Oh, look at this, though. Actually, the back Dark Swarm is actually helping himself now.
Yeah, okay, the observers are here to add it in, and it looks like Consume is being used on these Zerglings. The Defiler trying to do its best it can to keep the small militia alive.
Right here, but there's some more storms coming in right now. Should be decimating all these lurkers for now.
Yeah, so that was a great defense by Guimchi. Effort actually expanding now to the 6 o'clock base, going to be adding another gas to his economy here. But Guimchi, he's got to defend really hard. It looks like Effort's trying to apply a ton of pressure here. And just sitting with a ton of Archons and Dragoons, is it going to be enough?
Right, you know, this is the part where Zerg starts to explode all over the map here. We're seeing it happen right now. Effort trying to work his brute force his way into that 3 o'clock base while expanding behind it. I would like to see him go for a 2-prong attack, try to hit another base as well, but Guimchi's still having a tough time defending this. No Reavers yet.
Guimchi's got to focus all his attention into defeating the Zerg army, all this pressure right here. I mean, he has a good amount of cannons down in that fishbowl at the 3 o'clock, so it's good that he at least has that static defense there. But still, he doesn't have the army to engage easily against the Zerg. Oh, but he does have the Reaver. Look at that. So the Reaver out there with the Scarab, that's going to be really nice for him. Reavers really have that long siege range ability to, you know, defend with. The Scarabs just will easily clean up everything at that base now.
It can be very difficult for Effort to break it now.
Yeah, and look at that 2-3 upgrade. So already with the +3 attack on the Hydralisk, they're going to hit so hard. I'm wondering what the Zealots have in response to the 2-3.
They should have at least +2 by now.
Yeah, but if that's all he's sitting at, then 2-3 Hydralisks are definitely going to be strong.
Right, the Observer's not clicking on any Protoss units for
We're like, click the gateway unit, start it. Oh, that was a 6 Storm, though. Really nicely hitting those units. Unfortunately, the Defiler does get away.
Plague!
Oh, the first plague of the game. Getting these units really low here.
Oh, what a huge plague. They're hitting all of the units in that ball.
Oh, wow. You know, Guimchi, he didn't need that to happen. It's so hard for him right now to defend with Effort's continued pressure. And the fact that he does have that additional base.
But more importantly, Effort's getting the tech for his Ultralisk. We will see the cows come out pretty soon.
Yeah, but fortunately, Guimchi will be prepared because he does have robo facilities and he can build Reavers. So he will be able to defend in that regard. He just has to predict that Ultralisks are going to come out instead of playing from behind. And oh my god, look at that, 4 Reavers!
Oh man, how are you going to break this Effort? It's going to be very difficult to run yourself into. Having 2 shuttles with 2 Reavers each?
Yes, Guimchi is starting to look like he is hitting that late game perfect composition. Reavers, High Templar, Dragoons, Zealots, DTs. That is a nice mix of units here. So Effort, when he rolls out with these Ultralisks, is going to have to be very precise about how he engages against this Protoss army.
Ooh, look at this though. Trying to get a plague on top of the shuttle, trying to whittle it down so it's going to be very easy for Hydras, but...
That's actually a great move here, and the fact that he got the plague on the Reavers too is really nice. So he's going to be close to being able to one-shot both the Reavers and the shuttle.
Here's the thing though, Effort needs to defend this base.
Yeah, this is going to be a critical base that he needs to hold on to here. He's going to have to macro a lot of units down to the 6 o'clock. And meanwhile, the Dragoons and the Reavers coming in here so strong right now. These static defenses are just dying off so quickly.
Oh man, the Defiler goes down, you know, Zerg running in a little by themselves, not really doing anything. This hatchery looks like it could be falling right now.
Oh, nice Storms keeping this army at bay. Guimchi is playing great right now.
Yeah, so that base will fall, but Guimchi could actually lose this entire army. That might be disastrous if he loses all those Reavers.
Oh, this is just like a last stand defense right here against this Zerg army. Can he hold on? Just a constant macro of units here, but I think that the Protoss army is still strong enough to defend this.
Well, looks like he's strong enough, and even strong enough to continue to attack here into this minute-only base.
No way, just keeping on the added pressure here. Guimchi doesn't want to pull back, but I think it's a overcommitment if he does engage at this natural base. So many units getting lost right now. This is a Protoss army in disarray. Effort with a nice defense here of Hydralisks. Guimchi, instead, he needed to say, this is my opportunity. I still have a decent army. Let's try and take an additional base.
Right, let's take an initial base. Let's regroup our losses. You know, re-macro up our big army once again. We took out one of Effort's, you know, fresh mining bases here, so you're going to be a lot of trouble. We're seeing Effort already trying to re-expand Bassett at 6 o'clock and get a new hatchery at the 9 o'clock.
Yeah, honestly, Guimchi really does need to take the 4th and 5th base because he needs that surface area to build more gateways so he can keep that constant production. He's kind of area capped on the amount of gateways that he could have with his army right now.
Alright, look at this though. Guimchi going for an attack into 9 o'clock, and here comes the first cow.
Yeah, the Ultralisk on the field. Took Effort quite a bit to bring them in here, and the Ultralisk wouldn't have traded too well trying to defend earlier on, but right now I think this is a good opportunity to bring them in.
Right, but look at this though. Guimchi's army still standing very strong here. The Reavers is just doing so much work.
Wow, and those Storms were just decimating everything else. Oh, wow, GG! A fist pump, Guimchi taking the game. Can you believe this?
I can believe it.
Guimchi is literally a god right now. This is insane.
You know, I think actually, now that I think about it, I think Effort did delay the Ultra Race a little bit too long.
Yeah, he tried to pump all, those tier 1.5 units out so that way he could defend against that push. But maybe he did need to switch over to Ultralisks. The problem is he didn't have a good plan of defending against that 6 o'clock push with the Reavers and the High Templar. And instead he just kind of single file flooded units in that just died super quickly.
Right. You know, we did see Effort going for his, like, patented, like, run by, but he only did it, like, once the entire game, and I think that might have been a problem here, where Guimchi was able to exert so much dominance on the map itself that Effort didn't really try to go for any pokes. He was just playing defense, except for that one time he went for a big attack onto that 3 o'clock base.
Wow, I just can't believe this game, man. That was such a great start to this series. And exactly how I expected it to go. I am not disappointed.
Yeah, that's a great start so far, but a little bit disappointing in Effort, though. I'd like to see some more action on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe Effort's hands were just kind of warming up. His mentality definitely has to change, though. You know, seeing how well Guimchi played, if he underestimated his opponent in the first game, he's definitely not going to hold back now. And
Right.
we're going to be going on to Fighting Spirit, I believe. Or no, not Fighting Spirit. I'm sorry. We will be going into Match Point next.
Match Point. All right. My favorite map after Avalon. Let's do this.
Yeah, Match Point is a pretty solid map. One of the maps that is getting played right now in the Team Liquid Starleague is Neo Medusa, and I like that map.
I like how the tournament organizers picked that map.
Yeah, it's such a funny map pool, and I'm not sure if the map pool is rotating at all for the the next few weeks, but since it was Fighting Spirit, and then it was Heartbreak Ridge, or I'm sorry, Neo Medusa, and then the third one, if you made it, was Heartbreak Ridge. I thought that was kind of fun.
Well,
but fortunately, there wasn't a huge backlash over the map pool, which made me happy because a lot of people were disappointed during the TLC, and it seems like everybody's just excited to be in part of the TLS.
right. There's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of money, but more importantly, e-fame.
That is true.
You know, being able to declare yourself the best foreign Brood War player in the world, that's a title that you want to hold. Right now, it is up in the air who really is going to win this.
Oh man, we got a 5-minute commercial break here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Guys, thank you for joining in. We love that you are getting active in the chat, and just stay around. Continue to be rambunctious. Get hyped about Guimchi versus Effort.
Heroes of Incredible Tales.
Heroes of Incredible Tales. What an amazing game, and awesome sponsors, by the way. You know, I hate to bring it up, but we did receive some terrible news. And before you say anything, XKCD, I'll say it first. The terrible news is that David Bowie passed away.
Let's dance. Ba-dum-bum, dum-dum.
For me, it's, you remind me of the babe. The babe with the power. The power of voodoo. Oh man, I love the movie Labyrinth. I don't know why. It's just like the greatest thing ever.
The greatest thing ever. Since sliced bread, or just the greatest thing ever?
It's the greatest thing ever since
Ever.
Since ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since
ever.
sliced cheese.
I think sliced cheese have been around way longer than sliced bread.
That's right. 'Cause it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a little sad that David Bowie did pass away. But as it is, these people are getting old. Eventually it was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's better he went out this way than he went out like Cosby style.
True.
And I don't know if you guys listen to any radio talk shows, but there's this personality called Sean Hannity. He's a big Republican guy, and I think he was responsible for saying, "What's the difference between Bill Cosby and Bill Clinton?"
Oh man.
So try to stir the pot there. Obviously, it's going to get brutal. This is an election year for the United States. And it's just like every election is now just getting worse and worse by like how much gossip can we create about the other person. We just need to have these massive smear campaigns. So it's about who can look less worse instead of who looks like a lot better.
It's always been like that.
Yeah.
Because when your own politics has like no solid backing behind it or no solid plan, the only option is to shoot down your opponents.
I mean, that's why you have people like Emperor Minx who end up running the entire Terran force because they're just like ruthless people.
Possibly.
You know, they go for the jugular. They don't care who their opponent is. It's trying to make it StarCraft relevant. I like how Blind Rar is hashtagging president names, even though he's from India.
Hey man, you know, U.S. politics are very important because we do control the world. Well, at least some of it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we pretty much run India. No, I'm just kidding. India does have all of the tech jobs, though, if you believe in the tech crisis. Anyway, this is bland stuff. We are not entertaining you guys well. XKCD, tell us your most embarrassing moment. Entertain these people.
Don't really have any.
Oh, then we need to work on them. I don't know if you heard, but Flash for the Win did a lot of push-ups while you were away.
I know. You know, I was berating him on that, saying that he shouldn't have been pressured. Yeah.
Well, the difference is you and I are equals, my friend.
Yeah, we are.
You know, we're both on the older side of things. We're going to be getting our gray hair soon.
Well, you haven't got any gray hair yet?
No, I don't have any gray hairs.
That's good.
I look amazing, although I almost grew some. My wife and I had a talk about having a talk down the line about having children.
Oh man.
But we both concluded, let's get all the stuff we want to do out of the way. 15 years later. But yeah, a possible Korea trip is in the future. I'm thinking maybe the end of 2016 might be the year that I do it.
You should go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Hey, you know what? If this tournament picks itself back up at the end of the year again, then I will definitely try and cast from the studio. How cool would that be? I would totally brag to you. Unless you want to come. Maybe you come with me.
Maybe I can.
That would be sweet if we cast out of the studio together. Because I need someone to, like, travel Korea with. Otherwise, I'm just going to disappear off the earth. I'm not saying that there's, like, a lot of thugs everywhere in Korea. But definitely, I'll get kidnapped.
We can go to the bars.
Yeah, we will. That would be awesome.
Go karaoke.
Yeah. So what is there to do besides StarCraft in Korea? I honestly don't know. I know they have a beach. Is it a swimmable beach?
PC Bang.
Mm-hmm. PC Bangs? So I go to Korea and then I just play, I play StarCraft.
Yes.
At PC Bangs.
That's life, man. That's all there is.
Yeah.
And food. Lots of food.
Yeah, I heard the Koreans love kimchi so much that they start making clothes out of it.
Oh, man. That'd be a little bit disgusting, but we already are on match point here. Game number 2. And top right. as your brown Zerg. It will be effort. And in the bottom left, already up 1 game so far. It's going to be SeaGuemchi as your yellow Protoss.
Yeah, guys, game number 2 here. Effort getting defeated by SeaGuemchi on Circuit Breaker if you're just coming in here right now, so the hype is real. You know, and as I see Kimchi being, pasted in chat, I'm suddenly thinking that is going to be the name of my first daughter. It's going to be Kim Chi Witty.
No, that's a terrible name.
Oh, that would be awesome. Kim for the first name and Chi for the middle.
No, that's a terrible name. You're setting yourself up to have your child be harassed in school.
Yeah.
As a result.
And I'm glad you didn't facepalm, because my last name really is Witty. And I'm historically known for my terrible puns, it just couldn't get any worse.
Meanwhile, we do have the same old overpool once again from effort.
Yeah. The overpool build. Pretty solid, though. And you know what? A faster scout this time from SeaGuemchi, even though he knows where his opponent's base is. But this will give him the right information for him to form his cannon count. Wants to make sure he can defend against this properly when he does his Forge Expand.
Or does he Forge Expand?
That's a good question here. Gateway's becoming more and more common.
Oh man, he's Forge Expanding. Man!
It's the way and the will of the Protoss. Okay, so somehow... Oh, I thought he was going to get away with it. No, but the Protoss is going to be able to go for the block here. And now they're just spitting on each other. Doesn't it look like they're just spitting on each other's faces? Oh, he got the kill! Oh my god, SeaGuemchi is now like the new probe master.
What up now, Bisu?
Oh my god, I'm sorry. It needs to be Bisu versus SeaGuemchi Battle of the Protoss Finals. That's it.
That's it? We're making it official here?
It's official. I also want it because Bisu has a 90% win rate in PvP.
Oh, look at you.
It's disgusting, dude. No one can be Bisu in PvP. Except for Lazy.
Oh, when does Lazy come back?
I don't know. Yeah, Lazy is like, okay, I'm the only one who's defeated Bisu in a PvP. I'm gonna go to the military.
That's a good plan.
I'm gonna hold on to this one stat and get the F out of here for a while.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the third base actually come out at 12 o'clock again for the third player.
Yeah, that's right. So the hatchery coming down a little bit later for effort. He's got to be rattled. Man, he's not playing his perfect game here. And, you know, he's got the experience of playing in live games. It's not like it's anything new to him.
Right, but I mean, losing a drone that early on, though, you're going to be tilted no matter what.
Yep, and so we do see the lair coming on its way. Everything's still looking pretty normal for effort. The fact that he is going for lair, I mean, it's showing us that he's not going to go for like a 3-hatch Hydra bust or anything.
Man, there's no reason to go for it. It's actually pretty difficult to engage that natural.
Yeah, and then like even if you do bust down the natural somehow, it's even harder to get into the main base because of that really small choke point.
Right. Stargate coming up here for SeaGuemchi.
Yeah, and I bet you SeaGuemchi goes for that +1 again. I felt like the Corsairs worked out really nicely for him. I mean, he didn't have any game-breaking damage, but they controlled the field for a good amount of time. And, you know, being able to get that scouting information, push the Overlords away, and use DTs for defense when he does his expansions works out really well for him.
Yeah, so the first thought already making its way into the 12 o'clock base. Where does it? Zerglings.
You know, we saw this in the free game too. That Zero took the base at the 12 o'clock instead of expanding south.
Might be a new metagame.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Zerg players are finding that it's a little bit more defensible to expand to the 12 o'clock base, and this is just the way to go.
Oh, unfortunately for SeaGuemchi though, that first zealot just got caught out of place and got 0 kills out of it. Meanwhile, the second zealot trying to go for a drone kill, but it's not going to happen either.
Wow. Great defense so far against these initial 2 zealots. Effort just not allowing it to happen. Again, we're seeing that he pulls drones to deal with a threat from Guimchi, where we generally see players, maybe they take a drone loss, but they try and defend with just Zerglings instead.
Right. I mean, actually, for me, that kind of makes up the fact that he lost the first drone early on. Kind of like revenge for my drone.
Yeah, that nice defense there. But
that's
still, what is Effort going to do with the advantage now that there are no zealots out on the map?
Just go for a very strong Hydra game, mid game. Because, after Zerglemchi's first initial big zealot push is going to be slowed down quite considerably, since he doesn't have that 2 extra zealots.
Yeah, I would want to keep constant Hydra pressure on once the Hydras start to pop out for Effort, because it's going to be really hard for Guimchi to go ahead and take a 3rd base. The mineral only is super wide open. The 4th is still relatively hard to defend with the 2 ramps that you can engage through. And so as long as Effort can get a sizable Hydra army, it's going to be hard for Guimchi to push out until he has a lot of energy on his High Templars.
Right, Guimchi going for the +1/+1 for both his air and ground units. Starting to slowly build up that Corsair fleet. Hasn't lost a single Corsair yet, though.
Yeah, he's got a couple Corsairs out here. Effort needs to pay attention, not lose any of these Zerglings. It's going to be so useful later. And the Scourge are going to run it past the cannons.
It does get the scout off, though. It does see the Templar archives as well. So there is the possibility of High Templars and DTs. Look at that. The first DT already out on the map.
Yeah, this is great for Guimchi. He's going to try and get some damage in here, but there is an Overlord at the 3rd base already. So it's going to deflect the DT if it does run in that direction. This is looking really similar to Free's game, though, against Zero.
Here's the thing that I don't like about Guimchi's gateway placement. That there's a possibility for some units to get stuck in that choke point. Trying to oversaturate his natural with all those buildings.
Alright, that DT is going to get repelled. The Overlord's in just the right place. It's really hard to get a DT through these bases without a shuttle. Oh man, look at these Zerglings not getting paid attention to. Effort! You have nothing else to do! But unfortunately he loses all those Zerglings. That's actually a pretty big hit to the army.
That is. But I don't think Effort minds too much, though. He already has some High Templars on the map here.
I mean, but look at this. The game control is still heavily in Guimchi's favor. He has these Corsairs out. He's just looking for some easy pickings on Overlords. And, the Hydralists are going to have to help keep the Overlord alive.
That is true as well.
It's going to be absolutely critical. Otherwise, the DT defense is going to be too strong. It's kind of like when you're Terran and you have science vessels and you want to keep the science vessels alive in a ZVT. And Scourge are always constantly trying to snipe it out. That's going to be the same thing with Corsairs. They're going to be constantly trying to snipe these Overlords to weaken the aggression of Effort.
Alright, do you like that position that Effort has behind the middle line at the middle only 3rd, though? There's a couple Hydras. Just in case Guimchi doesn't clear it out. But here comes the first major push, though.
Yeah, Guimchi trying to establish his presence on the map. That way he can posture for a 3rd base. And I like that he dropped down the Robo. And obviously he is going to start the need to getting observers. But I hope he gets a shuttle too, because I think the shuttle will just allow him to gain opportunities against Effort.
Decreepers. This would be the great time for those Hydras to strike right now.
That's right. I mean, the